Up Close with Carlos Sang, celebrating art, entertainment, and the human spirit.
Rosie Sheehy, thank you so much for joining us today.
That's okay. Thank you so much for having me and for asking me.
Yeah, so I wanted to start off by talking about the title of the play because it also shares the title of a very famous children's book about sharing love, and I feel like this play is something quite different to that children's book. So I was sort of like wondering, what was your initial reaction to reading the script when you first read it?
Well, my first reaction I was, oh my God, I have to be in this and I have to do this. I know everyone says this, but it really did fly off the page for me. And immediately I just said, yeah, oh my gosh, I have to simply tell the story and be in it because it's such an important conversation. And I feel so honored and a real privilege to be able to tell it because it's not a subject that ever gets talked about on stage.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the play deals with some very serious issues and themes and asks very important questions. How do you sort of figure out the balance between, light and shade and working on a really weighty drama?
Well, the light and shade in the text, it's brilliantly written by Luke Norris. It's incredibly well researched. And so what I'm learning is that the text is really handling all that for me. And the clues are all in there. It's just up to me to mine them and find what they are and to honor them, but to have the stamina or the kind of the nimbleness in my mind to be able to technically get those corners right. But then it's very upsetting as a subject matter, and it's hard. So I guess there's an element of where you have to just look after yourself as well, and make sure it's absolutely researched as well as it possibly can be by me, you know. But to handle the light and shade, it's a human thing, isn't it? It's a human task, I guess, which
Yeah.
we're all doing. We're all handling light and shade, I hope.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you're working with the wonderful Jeremy Herrin, who's such a master of his craft. I was also like wondering, what would you say are some of his, key instincts that help him, bring out the best in his actors?
He's incredibly trusting. He knows exactly when to kind of leave you alone, but then also to get in amongst it with you. And he really does. He rolls up his sleeves and just gets into the deep and the dark well of it all and is unafraid to go there with you. And there's times in this play where I've really needed that help, and he's so up for it. And as you said, I'm a complete master of his craft, so just sort of gets in there and handles it with such clarity and care. So yeah, I'm really, really enjoying working with him. I'm really
Yeah.
loving it. I really am.
That's great. I mean, as you say, like, the play, talks about, very pivotal points in a relationship. Do the stakes, constantly feel very high, when you're rehearsing the piece? And how do you sort of like maintain that momentum as well without getting tired or anything like that too?
Well, that's you just get tired, I think, and then you build up a kind of stamina. And eventually we'll get there. But we were just saying this morning, actually, we're not doing a run today. We're sort of working on specific bits, but we've been running the play this week. And it's a momentous thing. It's happening before you, and you never want to sort of feel it running away with you, although it will. This kind of writing is so technically hard that you have to grasp onto it and run with it. Um, so I don't know. Maybe I don't think I'm very good at that actually. I do get very tired, and then you sort of get back up again, and you become resilient to it. But it's so well written. It's constantly knocking me sideways, and there's a new obstacle. I'm learning something really different about it every time we do it, every time we get on the horse, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you've worked on some of our most prestigious stages as well, on, the Old Vic, the RSC, the National. Does the Royal Court feel different, as a writer's theatre? And how does it feel, making your Royal Court debut with this play in particular?
Well, I feel like the luckiest actress ever. I really do. I'm so jammy. This play, to be on stage with Robert and Lena. But also it's that thing, isn't it? I've wanted to work at the Royal Court since I was like 17, because it's the place, isn't it? It's like, it's the writer's theatre, and you feel that. The writing in this is so good. And so it just feels absolutely right that it's Luke's name in neon outside the theatre. I feel so proud. But yeah, it feels really cool. Like so cool, and so kind of, everything is new and sort of cutting edge, and yeah. And looking at pictures, like posters on the wall of like, look back in anger when they first did it here, and the Weir was done here by, Conor McPherson's play that was first brought here. So I'm just getting loads of like theatre history and just really rock and roll.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. Yeah,
That sounding so cheesy and lame of me. No. Really rock and roll. But it is.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it's also really interesting, that the Royal Court is based, in the heart of Chelsea as well. Do you find it interesting as well how there's, the poshness of the outside area, and how that sort of contrasts with, sort of the raw struggles, of what's happening on stage inside the theatre as well?
It's amazing to walk to work every day. I'm really enjoying walking from that Knightsbridge tube. It's kind of gorgeous, when you think, wow, I haven't really spent a lot of time. My version of London, or my experience of London, isn't walking down them streets very much. So you feel that it's kind of opulence, and then you come into work and you think, okay, we're really dealing with, but that's not to say those people aren't going through what this play is about. That's not to say that kind of wealth or, as I said, opulence and beauty. It's a human condition that we're exploring here, and it can happen to anyone. It can happen to any of us. So, yeah, they'll be able to see themselves in it. We'll all be able to see ourselves in it, because the play is asking, what does it mean to be in a long-term relationship and to really face life, and to face strength and resilience and navigate the hardest decision ever.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think, it tells us about, what it means to be human as well? And, what can we learn about the human condition from, watching this play?
Well, I'm learning that maybe when you are faced with an incredibly hard moment, the well of grief that comes, or whatever the emotion is, denial, anger, bargaining, whatever cycle of that grief, whatever wave is hitting you at that moment in time, as humans, we're usually finding a way out of it, or grasping for a solution. And so this dialogue is lifelike and very quick, but there are moments of humour and joy and light despite it. And maybe for me to learn as Rosie in my own life, as well as an actor, is to find a buoyancy in things. That's how we sort of take one step forward. And patience as well. Patience, one foot in front of the other, and seeing what that feels like, what that next step is like, and going, okay, we're here now though. And now we're on this little bit. Oh, we've just gone back 10 steps. But okay, let's take another one forward. Am I making sense? I feel like I'm just sort of talking in such, I don't know, swirls of emotion, but that's it, really. It's when you're faced with the hardest decisions, it's about moving, keeping moving, keep treading water.
Do you feel like your definition of what a difficult choice has changed as well since starting doing this play too?
Yeah, I've never been faced with this, but you learn something. I learn something on every single play that I do, on how to sort of handle life. That's the whole kind of point, I think, of why we do this, or storytelling. And it's a connection, and it's to learn. And what a privilege to be able to delve into this and then to step back from it and to go, okay, that isn't my life or my experience, but I get to tell it. I get to be able to stand here and share this on a stage. Yeah, I'm learning a lot about love. I am.
Yeah. I I first came across you in Oleanna a few years ago, and yeah, I still feel quite haunted from watching that play. And your character and the play has been very divisive over the years, of course. How did you sort of begin to connect with Carol and to find empathy with her too?
It's so interesting you've brought Carol up because it was a two-hander, and there are three of us in this, but the majority of it is me and Robert playing tennis, you know. But you could say about Oleanna as well that that play is about love, even though it's really, really not on the surface. But I always used to think, well, you have to ask, or I have to ask myself, why does Carol keep coming back into that room? And why does he agree to keep meeting her there? So there's a really fine line between love and hate. And they agree to meet in that room for, I think, a wealth of reasons. Yes, it's sexual politics. Yes, it's what's the male experience? What's the female experience? What does it mean to be a student? And what does it mean to be a professor in that culture when it was written, but also today? But also on a human level, why do they keep agreeing to meet? And I think there's something more going on there. So in answer to your question, that's how I connected with Carol. There's a search for something. That's all I kind of want to say on it. It's a play about love, I think, more than we are aware of. Some or a kind of love. Maybe it's not true love, and it's certainly not healthy, but there's an attraction there.
Yeah, it's the dynamic between those two characters is so complex and fascinating. I still remember the gasps from, the final scene. Was there like a particular message or emotion you wanted to get across to the audience when you were doing that play too?
I don't know. It was so long ago. You're so good. Do you remember this? That last moment, those last moments are really shocking. They're really horrendous. And again, I don't know. The dominoes have fallen. They've reached the point where there's no return, really. And what happens physically is horrendous and will affect her for the rest of her life and him. I don't know. The message, it's so complex, but the message at the end is once something's happened, it's happened, hasn't it?
Mm.
And so you have to then cope with the consequences.
Of course. Oleanna has had such an interesting reception over the years. I was wondering, coming to a new play now, which people don't know at all, and do you feel like there was a lot of freedom to create something new and to not have to play to expectations as such?
Yeah. Although I'm never really thinking about that. I think if you sort of veer into that territory, then I don't know, you lose something. With Oleanna or with anything that's previously been done, you kind of want to make it your own or visit it with new eyes. You never want to sort of be comparing to what another production did if you can bear it.
Yeah, I suppose, when you did Romeo and Julie as well, the story is very different to the Shakespeare, of course. Did you have any sort of preconceptions yourself about who Julie was, and how did you begin to tap into her as well?
Well, again, Gary Owen, incredible. And I don't think he'd mind me saying that the character Julie was actually based on him, on his experience growing up in Cardiff, in Splot, and going to Cambridge University and leaving Wales and leaving that area. No, what I loved about that was the kind of the class declensions it explored in working class life, and how you can be born in one street and have a certain experience, and then you can be born a stone's throw away in the street next to that, and your experience be extremely different due to other circumstances, due to other factors of life. And the painfulness of what school did you go to, that question, and not realizing how important that is until you're older. In some circles, the kind of again, the tragedy of like, well, the time has passed now. When you're a young person and you have to make those kind of decisions about what you want to do with your life, it's hard. It's so young. so young to be deciding whether you want to be a physicist, an astrophysicist or not, or whether you want to go and have a baby, or whether you want to go and, is this the love of your life? That was another play. It's all about love, really, human connection. Shall I stick around? Shall I leave?
Yeah, I was very lucky. I got to come and see the play in London and in Cardiff as
Oh my
well.
God,
Yeah.
you came to Cardiff.
I did.
Whoa.
My family are based in Swansea, so I got to take the train over to Cardiff, and I got to go and see a performance of the Shermans. So I thought that was really exciting.
Oh my God. Do you know, I grew up in Port Talbot, but I was in Swansea so much growing up. So I feel like I really know where you'd have to tell me, but oh my God, so cool. Your family live in Swansea.
I love going there. I was over there for New Year's. But yeah, I was like wondering, after you did the transfer with Romeo and Julie, did you feel like audiences were particularly different as well, the reactions that you got during that play?
Oh my God, heck yeah. They're in Cardiff and you mention a street name and they lose their minds, They're like, wow, that's down the road. Oh my God, she lives in that street and he lives in that street. And oh God, they get that bus and they go there and you could feel it was getting a lot more. I don't know though, at the National, the audiences were brilliant. They totally, that amazing kind of Welsh wit and Welsh humour and the dryness as well. Yeah, gosh. And the mum, Barb's, brilliantly played by Catherine Aaron. That whole, that in itself, just incredible. Absolutely, it's just, I don't want to say stealing, but she was just sublime. Yeah, I loved it. I loved it in Cardiff, but the National was so, incredible. Both.
Yeah. How far removed would you say Julie's accent was to yours as well? Did you feel like the voice was quite similar or quite different?
So different. So different. I spent such a long time listening to, she's now my really good friend, but I got sent a sort of a voice clip of a young girl from Cardiff, and I really mimicked that. I listened to that on repeat. But it's a completely different rhythm. I guess our cultural references sort of Nessa from Gavin and Stacey, but there's so many different Welsh accents and different sounds and different, like any place. If you're going to do something really urban, but is it urban like Swansea or is it urban like Cardiff? Is it urban like Port Talbot? They've got their own kind of flavors. So I just loved it, and I love doing that voice now.
Yeah. Do you feel like you might want to work more in Wales as well going forwards now that the art scene over there seems to be buzzing again? The theatre coming up as well too.
It feels incredible. It really does. It's so exciting, and I definitely in the last 10 years felt it's lacking. If I can say that. So, and I know that loads of Welsh actors feel that. Everyone's so excited about the work and about the kind of the influx. It's kind of like about time, man. And like, what are we gonna say? And what have you got to say? And how can we do this production? And let's look at new Welsh writers. And there's an amazing Welsh play coming on here at the Court next year. And it always brightens my soul, lights me up. It's so exciting. Because you look at Irish theatre or you look at, Scottish plays and anything. It's like, come on, Wales, like have your time. Say, let's make the work. Let's give new writers, new voices of all ages, but celebrate the culture,
Yeah, certainly. I suppose also, with both Julie and Carol in Oleanna and also the young woman in Machinal as well, they're all sorts of like women struggling against a system. Do you find yourself, drawn to women who are sometimes perceived as difficult or misunderstood too?
Yeah. I'm always, the more complex a set of given circumstances are, the more interesting, for me. As I'm sure every actor is going to say that, but God, the higher the stakes, the better. I've said this, but what makes a human being do what they do? How can somebody be ugly and broken, and what pushes them to that, really, and what kind of ugliness is like that. I totally know what you mean by misunderstood, but my job is to really try and understand them and to empathize with what the behavior, or not. You don't have to always like your character. I don't think it's behavior, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like there was something quite feral about your character in Machinal too. The screams, I think, again, were like really haunting and like really stayed with me afterwards. Where did that sort of like vocal and like emotional power come from?
Oh, well, it just took a lot of stamina, I guess, and building up to it, and training so that I could not miss a show and hit those heights every night. And then building like a really safe kind of like technical shell, if that makes any sense, to move or to live in, you know. But yeah, a lot of breath work, a lot of yoga and stretching and vocal extremity work. Let's get that absolutely right. And a lot of physicality, deciding how to physically make a shape, or how to put your body in a position that's safe so you can hit that kind of high note without losing your voice.
Mm. I mean, you've played, a whole string of, very emotionally intense parts over the last few years. Has that been like an active choice, or do you sort of like, hope to do like a comedy, soon as well?
Well, that's so funny because I played Puck in amongst it all and really loved the lightness of that, and found myself, enjoying making an imp or making somebody who just doesn't care about the choices they make. That was really, really refreshing in amongst it all. But absolutely, of course. Is it a choice? Yeah, it is. I am always wanting a new challenge, but yes, they're emotionally complex, but so are we all. So are we all as humans. It's drama, isn't it? It's just high conflict and high the cost of whatever situation those people are in. It means a lot to them. So that's what I'm most interested in.
Yeah, absolutely. I recently saw Pillion at the cinema as well, and I thought you had such a great, I mean, scene stealing as well, scene stealing.
Carlos, that is so kind of you.
Yeah, I was just got to see it, yeah, yourself, and what did you think of the film too?
Well, it's kind of, oh my God, as a film, Harry Lighton is sublime. I mean, we all know that, but I did a short film with him back in like 2017, 2016, and he was just a delight and a genius then. And I'm so proud of him for all his success. But when you're looking at somebody and you're like, you've always had it. He's always had such brilliant intelligence, and yeah, he's incredible. So as a film, oh my God, what a corner of the human sphere that we never see again on screen. And again, a strange kind of love story. Heartbreaking at the end, but makes sense. And I can totally understand why that character's like that. And the growth that Harry Melling's character goes through. It's beautiful. That sense of like self-assurity at the end, knowing, well, actually I've learned this and now I'm going to be like this, and set my own kind of boundaries. But hilarious. I went to the screening of it and then I came in like a whirlwind and then I left again. And I just thought, yeah, that's that Port Talbot upbringing. There it is. So I loved it, but it made me laugh a lot.
It's a great film. I mean, you've got such a wonderful presence on screen and on stage. Is that something that you've sort of like always had, or like how do you sort of like develop that too?
No, Carlos, that's so nice of you to say. That is, I don't know what kind of presence I have, and actually, self-deprecation and that avenue is more accessible to me than feeling like I have good presence. I just feel like I'm there, I just try my best. But that's a lovely question, but no, I don't know Certainly haven't had it always. Even if I have it now, I haven't. I've improved a lot. I think since starting as an actor. Yeah, it was really bad. You get better. You get better at things. It hasn't always been there. No, I don't even think it is now. But yeah.
Yeah. Do you have an idea, like in your mind, of like what good acting looks like? You know, when you go and see shows yourself, are there certain things that you look for too?
Wow, that's a nice question. I think I'm always bowled over by great technique. I'm always, well, I love things that lack vanity, I guess. I love things. That's not to say that things with vanity are bad acting, because it's not. But it's the truth, isn't it? You're always going, is that the truth? Is that the truth of that? Has that moved me? Do I believe it? I guess. And when it does, it completely knocks me sideways. And I'm enthralled. So, but I love watching people who know exactly their craft and how to do things, and it's done with a sense of ease. That's what I'm always kind of striving for, and I never get there, but I never will. But you look at people, yeah, the greats on screen and the greats on stage. I think their acting technique, their vocal quality, their choosing when to let emotion come and when to not. It's all those choices.
Yeah. I guess sometimes you don't even see it when it's done so well too. You just completely invest in the character and you just are invested in the story and you're not thinking about it too.
That's it. You've said that so much better than I could have. You have.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you. It's been so wonderful talking to you. Just as a last question, what is the best part about being Rosie Sheehy?
What? Oh my God. Oh, the best part about being Rosie Sheehy is that she gets to be at the Royal Court and guess how much I love you at the moment. It really is. And I get to tell this story from January to February. Yeah, how lucky am I to be in these rooms and to be allowed to be given the responsibility to share such a delicate and tender story.
Well, you deserve it though. I'm so looking forward to seeing the show.
I really hope I do it justice. And I don't mean that. I'm not saying, please, can you tell me that I am going to be okay? But I just want it to be handled in the best way I can serve it, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Rosie Sheehy has been so lovely talking to you.
Pleasure. Thank you, Carlos.